no. First of all, yes, I am standing in something that I really shouldn't have. However, in my defense, over here, she kinda... She wanted to come home. This is the absolute best luck I've ever had on a banner. So, of course, I was gonna final evolution that. But now that I have the final evolution, we can speak about the kind of things that were bugging quite a few people, and we're also gonna speak about why it is okay to not be entirely accurate in a video game. So let's start from the very obvious issue with this banner is Nikki is running in ballet flats, not endpoint shoes. She has a special run that comes with the outfit, but she's still running around in ballet flats. The thing is, if she had endpoint shoes, those are good for standing on your tippy toes. They are not meant to be walked in. So the developers had to choose where the awkwardness in this banner lies. Another thing about having this in a Nikki game is if I just show you guys the outfit poses. We're gonna try to zoom out a little bit so that we can see them properly. Do you see that when she dances, she doesn't fully extend her leg? She can't really stand with the line that she needs to stand. If I'm gonna pause this pose, let's just... Yeah, let's take a look at that. You wouldn't be able to balance like this. The leg is at a slight angle, it's not exactly straight, and the curvature of her foot is all wrong. She's colliding with the floor at an angle like this. It's not like you can grip onto the floor with your tippy toes. So she's trying to do this on ballet flats, while also being at an angle. It wouldn't work very well. It's awkward. Alright, now that you had a short in-game demonstration, welcome to the internet and the kind of posts that were written about ever since the outfit was announced, not even just coming out. Dang, the shoes don't look enough like ballet shoes to me. It looks like they're just wearing walkable ballet flats and standing on their tiptoes. I want this curved look. I love watching YouTube shorts of ballerinas prepping their ballet slippers. Also wish she was on the tiptoes the entire time. It's not too different from the naked heels tiptoe look with Forever Bond. I hope we get this one day. Another post asking any ballerina Nikki's with the opinions on ballerina fit. I am a former ballerina, and I feel like other Nikkis have voiced everything what I've seen. The bloomers under her tutu are inaccurate and interfere with leg line language. Ballet prefers a longer leg to torso ratio. Her shoes lack a proper box and resemble ballet flats rather than point. Her foot is sickled in one of the promo pictures. As for inaccuracies, I think that they're totally okay to ignore when it comes to fun fashion designs. Her hair would not typically be allowed to be that loose and wispy. If you ever see a ballerina up close, the hair is gelled back and sprayed down into tight and secure bun. Typically, the point shoes are also the same color as ballerina's legs, more like elongation illusion. I think she's beautiful. If I could change anything about her design, I would just reshape her point shoes to be more flat at the bottom and broader around the toe to create a real box. Former ballerina here, and I was devastated at the sickled foot in the promo image. It's ballet form 101, and usually just children do that who are still learning proper technique. And typically it's a dead giveaway in ballet poses between someone with and without real training. Honestly, despite the outfit being beautiful, I probably won't pull if the real poses look like that. And then we have yet another post saying the fact that I consulted with professional ballerina and still could not put Nikki in accurate point shoes. First of all, I'm not sending hate, and I will definitely get this outfit, but I can't keep asking myself why they couldn't design appropriate point shoes for Nikki. I'm thinking of all possible scenarios because my brain is just like that, and I'm almost sure that there is some nuance to this. It could be a model and an animation issue, or maybe limitations on how the model for Nikki is actually animated. Maybe they could not properly put Nikki in point shoes completely due to the limitations, and doing so would have caused this update to take longer. They had deadlines already, which makes sense, and I completely understand that. It's just that this is still bugging me, and that's why I'm sharing it to see if anyone is out there that thinks something similar. I would love to read anyone who with knowledge in these areas to help me understand. Kinda as a final point and contribution, I want to throw this picture of a ballerina from 1960s when I think it's about 1960s in here, where people said that the point shoes that she's wearing would represent Nikki's shoes more closely because they weren't quite as boxy at the front. But I just want to take note at her leg language when she is standing on the leg. She's probably overly bendy person, which most ballerinas would be because her knee is bending in more than it should be able to. So there's some joint laxity there going on, but as you can see, Nikki's leg is like straight, a bit at an angle, and then like her foot somehow meets the pavement like this, which is definitely very interesting compared to ballerina, which is directly down, but her leg doesn't quite render as straight as Nikki's does because, well, she's a human being. She has like a calf muscle and everything. You have a bit of a turn to the leg. It's not whatever the shape is. I think it's very easy to see the problems with the outfit and the inaccuracies. However, here is the other point of the video. It is okay to actually not be accurate in video games, and decisions are made for various different reasons. Quite specifically, as people mention in here, given how persnickety, affectionate, the Infinity Nikki devs tend to be about closing details, I would be modest amount of diamonds that it was a model issue. They probably know perfectly well that point shoes aren't quite right, but just couldn't make it work without going over budget. Considering that Nikki is likely modeled on joints, her foot is likely one joint. It can't do bendy things. And her leg also is not quite the same as a ballerina leg. It also cannot do bendy things. So they were trying to model as accurately as they could within limitations. And as a balance to that, we have this comment thread. If it's any comfort, the majority of players can't tell that anything's wrong, just like the poor harpists lamenting that the soundless Dawn was holding her harp all wrong. You are cursed with expert knowledge, but what you cannot unsee, most of the rest of us won't ever notice. Same thing happened with horse nerds and the unicorn. That thing has some goofy anatomy, and I know I'm not the only person who couldn't pull the banner because I can't keep a straight face when looking at the Frankensteed. Sometimes knowing how things actually work is a bit of a curse. It's been months and I still get a giggle when I see it in Sea of Stars. I can kinda guess at some of the reasons that they made decisions they made. It's so big so it looks more majestic. The skinniness may have been because they wanted Nikki to ride a stride without doing the splits. The weird little rat face could have been because they worried people wouldn't find a realistic horse face cute. Horses are also famously hard on artists because their anatomy is just bonkers. Ultimately, it's fine. I hope someday they give us a more realistic horse, but I also accept that there's no curse quite like having your niche interest adopted into media by people who do not share your niche interest. It also reminds me on how our perception of a thing can change depending on how closely we look and what we're seeing. I think the lion doesn't have eyes and it's creeping me out. people pointed out that yes, he does have eyes, they're just closed. And here would be a more accurate image that's a lot less creepy. So you can see how you can go from perceiving the lion as having eyes or not having eyes, depending on how you're looking at the model. The same way Nikki, as a ballet dancer, can look accurate or not accurate depending on what you're comparing it to and how closely you're looking at the thing that you're looking at. The whole point of this video is that we don't need to be perfect at representing things inside video games. Sometimes video game logic is actually quite entertaining just for being video game logic. Sometimes how video games differ from reality is where the entertainment can even come from, such as Skyrim's rivers randomly starting at a point and flowing in two separate directions at the same time. It's the kind of thing that you can suspend your disbelief about as long as you stop like nitpicking small details. So White Knight's ballet is nowhere near accurate to a real ballerina and to real ballet. But you know what? That's okay. You can see that Info tried really hard with the limitations that they have placed on their own model. And obviously there's never gonna be perfection. It's just the way it is with things. The same can be said about any kind of super niche interest inside this video game in particular. When they introduce a super niche interest, it probably is gonna fall within the limitations of the game and how they need the product to look and perform during gameplay. And you know what? That is okay. I still appreciate that they tried. So yeah, please tell me if you're irritated by the small inaccuracies available inside the video game, or is video game logic kind of entertaining to you? Because to me it's kind of endearing and entertaining at the same time. I quite enjoy when video games take their own liberties with what they're portraying, even if the liberties would not work in real life. But that's the great thing. It's fantasy, and fantasy doesn't need to be represented as reality. So yeah, she's inaccurate, and that's okay. Thank you for watching. Thank you so much for my Patreon supporters, and hopefully I'm gonna see you in my other videos. Toodaloo.